Hello everyone and welcome back to another tutorial on my channel. It's been a while. So today I would like to talk about using AI in a creative workflow, in a 3D kind of workflow, and how you can use AI to get the most out of your work, most out of your ideas. So let's get started. At first I'd like to show you how you can get instant inspiration using StableDiffusion. And for this one I actually used Redshift Diffusion as my checkpoint, and this prompt: a hallway with a single chair, daylight, ocean, sea view, concrete, rocks, cliffs. Basic kind of aesthetic style, I guess. And I actually also always use my Octane preset, which basically adds some prompts, extra prompts into here, and also into the negative prompts, which makes generating things a lot easier. Can actually show you those later in the description, I guess, something like that. So let's generate our first image, take a look at what StableDiffusion is giving us. And as you can see, it's pretty damn cool already. Has a nice composition with sea cliffs and stones and a chair, also quite nice lighting. But let's say you already have a composition in mind and you don't want to rely on StableDiffusion to come up with compositions and stuff like that. So what you could do is actually jump into Blender, and here, as you can see, I already modeled pretty simple environments, which is basically the same prompt as in StableDiffusion, the same theme, the same thing I'm going for, you know, the same idea. As you can see, it works perfectly fine in cycles. But the thing is, what we want from Blender is basically a C pass. It basically is an image which tells us how far objects are away from the camera in Blender. Let's actually go into Eevee, because Eevee is real time and we basically only need the C pass, and Eevee is basically the fastest for this. Let's go into Eevee passes and disable every single pass except the C pass, because we need the C pass to use later in StableDiffusion. So just make sure C pass is checked. Also, your resolution should fit your canvas in StableDiffusion. So here you can see I used 400 by 500, which is the same here, but I changed the percentage to 50, so it's half res. So if you now press render here, you can see it didn't work for some reason. Okay, I know why. Basically, hit render and make sure you have the CPass activated. Now go into the compositing workspace. As you can see, it outputs the image directly into the composite image, but we need the depth information of the image. And how do we get that? Basically, you just plug it into here. Boom, render again, and now it doesn't work as well. Oh, because I unchecked use nodes. So now it should work, right? You have this white image, but nothing else. So why is that? Because Blender saves those depth informations in the 32-bit float, I think, something like that. So basically it allows it to get really much of that information, so you can have lots of far away things and close things, but we actually don't need that much, so we use a normalist node, which basically maps those high and ultra low numbers to 0 to 1. As you can see with render now, we get this image that looks already like something. But we have a problem, and that is our glass plane here actually messes up with the CPass, because glass, you know, it's not see-through for the CPass filter, so we have to disable glass and also volumes if you use volumes in your scene. So back into the compositing workspace, you can see we now render, we get this far better visualization of what's going on. And now if we were to go and save this image to use later in StableDiffusion, I use always RGB without the alpha channel, because, you know, it can always mess things up and we don't even need the alpha channel. I open ControlNet because we'll be using ControlNet for this one. Plug our image in, enable it, use the dev model. We don't need a preprocessor because we already kind of pre-processed it in Blender. Make sure our canvas match our actual generation canvas. So now it does, and I don't know why, but ControlNet likes to juggle around numbers like crazy, as you can see. But I actually never had a problem with that anyway, so it should be fine. But we actually made a mistake, and I'll show it right now. It looks kind of off, and it feels like this concrete wall, I think, is far too close. The chair is completely fucking overexposed, and, you know, composition looks kind of off, and that's because we actually made a mistake in Blender. Because how ControlNet perceives this image is everything that's white is extremely close to the camera, and everything that's black is extremely far away from the camera. So in our case it should be exactly reverted, and I actually just noticed this input color checkbox, which actually should fix it. Never actually noticed it before, but as you can see now it works perfectly fine. The ocean is far away. We lost the chair, but I guess that's just StableDiffusion doing its things. But as you can see, it always generates a nice composition without the ocean being too close in your face. But now let's say you don't even like this composition that much and you want to change things up. You can actually reduce the weight of ControlNet to get a bit more different results than before. As you can see now we have like a cliff here, which wasn't there before, because now ControlNet doesn't have to, you know, rely that much on the input image. But I find it's kind of strange that the chair is just disappearing, but I guess it's fine. You can also crank up the weight like really high, but I don't think that will look good. Yeah, as you can see, it kind of always misses the chair, but it just doesn't look good at all, because now ControlNet basically has control over your whole composition and your whole generation, and it looks like shit. So let's leave it around 0.8, something like that. You can see it generates really nice images, in fact, and you can use those images for inspiration to use in your Blender project, in your 3D project. I really like this method because it allows you to, you know, get a different view on your work you're already done. Because sometimes you just, you know, need some space to take a step back and think about what you've created. I really like this one with the reflections in the water. And the best part of it is everything you create is basically your idea, because you come up with the prompt, you come up with the composition in Blender, and it's yours. Also, you're going to render it anyway later in Blender, or you can use just this image, I guess, to post on social media, but I really wouldn't recommend that, except you were like posting it as an AI channel and marking it as AI generated. Then I think it's okay. But, you know, just this and saying, hey, I made this in 3D, it's really not cool. But yeah, that sums basically everything up. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. And I hope to see you again sometime soon. Later.